Taobao inflatable pool on my roof. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Clueless Dad. Today we're going to unbox and inflate this Bestway, I guess that's the brand, Bestway inflatable kiddie pool that I got off of Taobao. I supposedly ordered the 3-point-something meter one. This looks like it's only the 1.8 meter one. So unless they shoved a big one into a small box, I think I got the wrong one. We'll have to deal with that with the seller later. But in the meanwhile, I got people coming over today for a barbecue, and I need a pool even if it's going to be small. Okay, so I got my box cutter and I got my battery-powered pump, which hopefully has enough batteries. So let's get this thing started before I get sunburned. So it came with a bunch of extras, including these balls, and I guess that's a pump, and some goggles in case you're really going to swim. I don't think it's that deep. And some inflatables, which will be nice for the kids. I guess that's little wings, and that's inner tube. And here's the actual pool. So I got to get all this junk out before it all gets blown away. Okay, the good news is this one says it's the 3.6 meter, I think that's the outer diameter by 2 meters by 65 centimeters. So this should be the one that we bought. Let's see how big it is. Okay, the good news is the pump is actually plug-in with some really cheap China plugs. So I do have an outlet here. If I got an extension cord and an adapter, I could probably keep going once the battery dies. And it's got all kinds of different adapters for different things, so that's actually useful. This thing isn't very heavy duty, but yeah, as long as you're standing right next to it and ready to unplug it if it starts burning, it's probably okay. It also comes with this for fixing punctures, so it's basically just two circles of the same material with some vinyl repair glue, also by Bestway. So probably going to need this sooner or later. Well, it is quite big. Since this is a 3-story inflatable pool, it actually has 3 rings, and each ring, thankfully, is inflated separately. So I guess that means if you get a leak, at least in the top one or the bottom one, you can still use it somewhat. And it also has a one-way valve that you can also remove. So that means that you can basically have this one in and then fill it without it leaking, and then when you want to actually empty it out, you pull the whole thing out and there's no valve, and it can hopefully empty out relatively quickly. I have to actually put down pads on the ground, and I need to fill this, and then I need to fill it with water. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start inflating it first. While it's inflating the bottom ring, I'll actually set up the pads and then try to get going with the water, because I only have 2 hours or an hour and a half till the friends come, and I also want to give this water some time to warm up, because we've done that before where you just fill it up straight from the tap, kids jump in and it's like 60 something degrees and they actually start getting the chills even though they're in the sun. So long story short, I want to get this thing set up quickly, so I'm going to do a few things in parallel. So here's actually the drain at the bottom, and there's like a tube here so it doesn't get blocked. And here are the 3 levels. You can see that there's the one-way valve that can be put in and removed, and then also the final plug, or all the way open. So that's the top, middle, and bottom one. And they actually make, I think, a 4-floor version of this. We didn't get that because we didn't want the water to be too deep for small kids. Okay, and there you go. Not too bad for 50 bucks. It came with a lot of extra junk, like the little balls and the water wings and the little inflatable ring. Kind of superfluous, but as you can see, but it came with some extra stuff, as you can see, and some balls. Yeah. Show me the ring. So kind of superfluous, but it's nice to have a little extra. The pump actually is pretty good. I thought it would be a piece of junk, but it's actually stronger than our battery powered one. The problem is, of course, you got to be close enough to a plug, and you're mixing swimming pools with electrical appliances from China. So yeah, the problem in our case is we have one outlet here on the roof and it's way over there, and I don't have enough extension cords. So I was able to do the whole thing with the just the battery powered one, but it did take a while, as you could see from the time lapse. One other thing is you actually have the option of partially inflating this. So like in my case, I probably could have got away with just doing the bottom two, because we do have some small kids who are going to have trouble getting over it. But I didn't inflate the top one fully so they can kind of roll over it. I'm not going to get anywhere near filling it up with water. That would take forever. It's only up to your ankles after like an hour. And basically pretty expensive, I think. So that's a question you have to ask, like, how much are you spending on just filling this thing up if you're going to dump it the same day, or do you want to risk like using it the day after or something like that? So in this case, if it's in the sun and it's like one day, it's not too bad, but we've done it before with our other one where if you leave it there too long, it kind of gets slimy inside. So yeah, definitely without chlorine or whatever, it's probably not a good idea to leave this water sitting too long in there. One other thing, there was kind of some soapy residue when I first started filling it up, and a couple like black flecks of something. So that's probably from the factory or the warehouse or something. So I tried to rinse it out and dump it out, and it does take a while to drain out of that drain there. So I actually ended up draining it most of the way and then just lifting the whole thing up and water spraying everywhere. But it cut to the chase. You definitely can't do that if there's more than like maybe a ½ inch of water in this thing, because it's pretty heavy. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's how it looks. What do you guys think? I have seen these things for sale, at least equivalent ones for sale, like in Walmart and Target in the US. But within Taobao, there's just like a bajillion of them, and they're almost all exactly the same. There's obviously different versions, but this kind of blue translucent one with multiple levels is pretty ubiquitous. This one's called Bestway. Yours might be called something completely different. So yeah, pretty good. Just make sure that where you inflate it, you have access to a plug, and where you fill it up, you've got a hose that has a decent rate, because it's going to take forever to fill up otherwise. Okay, so that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye.